Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage your host and MC for Anarchapulco, Mr. Jeffrey Tucker.
All right. See if this is working. Is it working? Can you hear me okay? All right. You can't see me. All right, so we need a spotlight and we need a live video. Those are the two things that are missing here. We're gonna get it, we'll get there. This is the most implausible conference I've seen in my life. I told this to Jeff when he first told me about it, but first he called me and he said, you know, I've got a new podcast, it's called Anarchast. And I said, nobody's gonna watch that. Turns out to be hugely popular. Then he called me up and he said, listen, I'm in Acapulco, I'm thinking about holding a conference, I'm gonna call it Anarchapulco. And I said, Jeff, that's the dumbest name I've ever heard in my life. Nobody's gonna come to this conference. Well, here we are. It's been building and building every year and it's wonderful. And I think the reason is that we're living through a gigantic paradigm shift, one I've been waiting for my entire life. I was there in 1989 when something like 10 states completely collapsed. There were socialist states, and we saw how an old paradigm becomes a new one. And I wondered at the time, could the same thing happen to the social democratic states of the developed world? And what were the conditions that would make that possible? And I've never entirely seen it, but I'm beginning to see it now. What we're seeing is the complete failure of a system of top-down control, and it's being replaced by a new intellectual paradigm that asserts the dignity and the rights of every individual to live a free life. That's the choice we face. Everything else is nonsense. If you're from the United States, you should know this by now. You know, it's the funniest thing. I listen to way too much news. I should really stop. It's like an addiction, because it doesn't actually pay off at all, right? But before I left the US, this was last week, I listened to a bunch of news. And so this morning I woke up and I thought, you know, I'm a little bit behind on the news. I better see what it is. So I turned it on, and with the panic sound, now the latest breaking news, I couldn't believe it. It was just like the news last week. It's the same stuff. Exactly like nothing has happened, apparently, you know, in a week or whatever. It's like, what's that movie, Groundhog Day? You know, it's like, wait, turn this stuff off. So I shut it off. I thought, you know what? I'm not getting anything from this news. The real news is that you're here and you're dedicated to a new paradigm of living free, regardless of what the nation state tells you. And whether it's the Green New Deal or Donald Trump's nationalism and all the rest of this nonsense, we're here to assert the rights of the individual to own himself or herself and live a free life, seeking dignity and seeking happiness. If you agree, yeah, that's it. That's it. It's not that complicated. It's an idea that emerged over the course of 500 years. In fact, the idea is ancient. It just needs to be reapplied in the 21st century. With some diligence and some work, we can make it happen. And I think this conference is making a major contribution to that. And I think you know it. You feel it here. In this beautiful resort, when you got here, you probably felt like me, freer than you've ever felt in your life. And look at this place. This is the freest place on earth right now. All right. So we've got a few housekeeping notes. I'm just going to go through the tedious MC stuff. Not really. But social media, tag Anarchapulco on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, YouTube. I'm just going to ask something that's like, I wasn't told to ask this, but my own sense of these conferences is that it's really good to take a lot of pictures and it's really fun, but it's also very nice to ask people before you do that. Do you know what I mean? Just a polite, like, don't be a jerk, that's all. You know, taking pictures, post them all over the place. Just before you take a close-up shot of somebody, you know, and tag it or whatever, just make sure it's okay with them to do that. Our schedule runs continuously without breaks. which is a real innovation, actually. I experienced it over the last couple of days. I really like it. We can check out the Verity Vegan in Contesta, which is a nice restaurant over here. It's an Acapulco company. They have really delicious food, and it's really exciting. The Stateless Store is also open every day from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. There are still some tickets for our VIP dinners, Ron Paul on February 15th and David Icke on February 16th. There's a chance to dine with these guys. That's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. When you sat down this morning, I don't know if you found this nice card from Bitcoin.com. They are the wonderful sponsors, the major sponsors of this conference. And my friend, good friend Roger Ver. And the coin you're going to be getting is Bitcoin Cash, which is my preference in sending and receiving crypto is always to use Bitcoin Cash because it's super fast. And I don't know, it's just the transaction fees are virtually nothing. So you've got that card, a random amount of Bitcoin Cash is on there, up to $500. So this is actually a valuable thing. So I can see some people are going to be getting out of their chairs and collecting them from the empty seats over there. Get a stack of 100 or something. Anyway, download the Bitcoin.com wallet, which is actually a really good wallet. It also accepts Bitcoin Core. It's a really nice wallet. I really like it. And just scan it, and whoa, you'll have some crypto in your pocket. Extraordinary. Yeah, I love using crypto. The first time I ever did, I realized, oh, this is what we've been missing for 100 years of government nationalization of money. We didn't know it was possible. It was like we'd all been driving around in Model Ts, and suddenly Roger Ver shows up in a Maserati and says, what's wrong with you guys? Drive this thing. So anyway, you've got Bitcoin Cash there. You should check it out. And also they have apparently a really nice booth out here set aside, so you should go visit them. I found that Bitcoin.com are some of the nicest people in crypto. Now, before I introduce our next speaker, what I'd like to do, he's over there just like sweating out. Oh my God. Okay. You know what I'd like to do? I was really touched by something in your program. And it's the Anarchapulco Manifesto. And I really think it's a very beautiful statement because, people call us radicals. Sometimes you feel that way, feel strange. Your friends and neighbors, maybe your bosses, are saying, why are you going to a conference on anarchism? It's like, you're really weird. What it is really all about, it's about the aspiration to achieve a good life through universal human emancipation and peace among all peoples. That's what I would sum up our philosophy as, all right? So this is not crazy. This is not crazy. It's what we believe. But there's this really interesting manifesto. I'd just like to read it line by line, and I'm going to try so hard not to riff on every single line. I'm not going to say anything after each one. I'm making that promise to myself right now because it's always so tempting. First of all right, I'm really not going to comment on anything about it. I'm going to try really hard not to. The Anarchapulco Manifesto. We own ourselves. We choose to live in freedom, to promote freedom. We denounce authorities and instead live in partnership to create a more peaceful world. We choose to have voluntary relationships only. We will never infringe on another's freedom. We will never impose our will on others. We value self-reliance and strive to help others take responsibility in their lives. And we reject government-imposed patriotism. We desire equal freedom for all. We honor and celebrate the diversity in the anarchist community. We will organize Anarchapulco without hierarchy, force, or violence. We will not criminalize victimless pursuits. We will strive to find peaceful solutions for resolving issues and conflicts. It's beautiful, beautiful, right? I just got the chills, sorry. All right, we're in for an amazing, amazing time. It's gonna last several days, so many interesting speakers. You know what? Prepare yourself. You might hear things you're not supposed to hear. You might hear ideas that strike you as dangerous. You might hear somebody say something that you disagree with. But you know what? You'll be glad you did, because you can think for yourself, right? It's all okay. This is a free speech zone, as they say in the colleges, except theirs is like this big. Ours is large. All right. So, prepare yourself. We're in for an exciting intellectual adventure, and my guess is it's going to be a life-changing one.